Technically speaking, Panametrics has a lot of unique capabilities to handle flow measurement. So we can measure the brine and say water, the cooling water, as well as saturated steam, which not a lot of people could do. So this does cover the full rangeability. We also do offer both clamp on and inline, which is, sort of unique compared to our competitors. So this does allow us to measure flow in a lot of challenging conditions that you often find. And then sort of that other part, commercially speaking, I feel like we do have a very good overall footprint in the energy market. So, as the energy transition's progressing, we're seeing more and more mixes of energy production being put together. So, for example, geothermal with biomass or district energy, waste heat recovery, wind, hydrogen, solar, whatever it may be. In Panametrics, we do cover all of these industries with our flow line, but also our process analyzer line. So we can provide a full solution for all these different applications. And of course, have to shout it out, we are a Baker Hughes business. So when you do combine our solutions with the rest of Baker Hughes, there is a full scope ranging from subsurface to surface, which not a lot of competitors can say that they have that.
Welcome to Geothermal Unleashed, where we're going to explore the cutting edge of geothermal energy. I'm Elizabeth Cambre from the Vallourec New Energies team, and I'm here to help educate and document geothermal's rise in the global energy transition. Joining me today is Lauren Kopec, who is the Business Development Specialist for Energy Transition with Panametrics, which is a Baker Hughes company. Lauren, I'm really happy to have you joining me here today. And we're going to talk about Panametrics today and the efforts that they're playing in the energy transition. So welcome, Lauren. Why don't we start by having you tell us a little bit about yourself and the focus Baker Hughes has on the new energy space. And let's talk more specifically also about what you're doing in the geothermal space.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. And thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I'm always super excited to talk anything energy related. So this is fantastic. But yes, I'm Lauren Kopec, and I'm the Energy Transition Business Development Specialist for Panametrics within Baker Hughes. I currently live in Houston. I'm based out of Houston. And I've been with Baker Hughes for almost about 3 years. So I first started in a sales and commercial rotational program, and I've been working in this business development role for about 7 months. So my background is chemical engineering from the University of Texas at Austin, and that's really where my passion for the energy industry first started. And I took a technical focus in my degree in energy technology, where I first studied CCUS, biogas, geothermal, emissions abatement, sort of all those industries. Specifically in Baker Hughes and in Panametrics, our new energies focus is mostly on hydrogen, carbon capture, geothermal, and biogas industries, and then those industries that are sort of mixed in with all of those. In the past few years, Baker Hughes has really established itself as not just an oil and gas company, but rather an energy technology company. So, like a lot of companies, Baker Hughes has really recognized the growing need for low carbon solutions. And a lot of technology for new energy was sort of there all along. But it's just a matter of getting in front of those new audiences and positioning yourself in those markets. So Baker really did see the early potential, and they've been putting a lot of investment and innovation into these new energy markets while sort of using the backbone of oil and gas technology. And then, very specifically for geothermal, Baker Hughes was able to, leverage its core experience in drilling, reservoir management, digital industrial technologies to really become a key player in this industry.
That's awesome. I love that you're a chemical engineer. I've got a chemical engineering degree background as well. And it's really cool that you went right into commercial. That is, that's not typical. Typically, you'll see the engineers go into technical, but I like that component.
Yeah, definitely an interesting kind of pivot.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic so far.
It's actually a very exciting approach to take.
Mhm.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Panametrics and the history of Panametrics, because I did work
Mhm.
at Baker Hughes, but
Mhm.
Panametrics kind of came in towards the end of my time with Baker, and I don't fully know it. So can you share a little bit about that, and then just talk a little bit more about um, specifically, the what you're doing within Panametrics and new energies.
Yeah, no, so absolutely. So Panametrics, I'd say we're a smaller business unit of Baker Hughes. We do sit in the industrial energy technology side, which is sort of different from the, traditional oil and gas field side of the company. So not a lot of people, may come across our name, but I would say, we're equally as important. We've been around since 1960. So it kind of started as like a small startup, family-owned business. And our first technology, which was our process analyzer line. This was commercialized, I think, in 1967, and then the ultrasonic flow meter came a couple years after. So this really made us a pioneer in this technology and in the industry itself, because we've been around for a while. We then sort of got absorbed into GE in 2002. And then in 2019, we became a Baker Hughes business. We decided to keep the brand name, as a lot of people in the industry know Panametrics by the brand. So it's very important for us to still have that brand recognition while being under the Baker Hughes business. I would say personally, it might be biased, but we've always been, I think, one of the most diverse business units within Baker Hughes. So of course, oil and gas is our bread and butter, but every industry does need measurement. So we have a wide footprint sort of in all these industries when you're looking at chemicals, wastewater, steel, mining, and then of course now new energies. So the fundamental technology has not really changed, but for new energies, we fit into all the measurements very easily, whether we're looking at, like I said, carbon capture, hydrogen, biogas, geothermal. So what I'm doing specifically is, we've sort of created this role for business development for new energy, so we can take that focus away from oil and gas and start putting some more focus on these new energy industries, engaging with customers that are in oil and gas and moving to these, and then also engaging with new customers, new startups that are in this space. Specifically for geothermal, every industry needs reliable and accurate measurement, for safety, efficiency. So that's where Panametrics could help with these solutions.
Yeah, so I think that's super interesting. I had a little bit of an experience in the flow meter space when I worked for
Mhm.
a coatings company right before
Mhm.
I actually came to Vallourec, and we were really focused on the flow meter market, and I was just blown away at the size of it. And you
Yeah.
mentioned sonic, ultrasonic flow meter, so I did touch a bit on that. So then my eyes have been opened to hearing like different technical talks at conferences on flow meters, and
Yeah.
definitely I've seen presentations on the ultrasonic flow meters for geothermal. So
Mhm.
totally see the market there and the presence
Yeah.
of it. So going into that, can you share a little bit about the specific products, and maybe it's the sonic meter, and your portfolio at Panametrics and how they serve the geothermal market?
Yeah, yeah. So just generally speaking, Panametrics does have two product lines. So we have our ultrasonic flow meters and then our process analyzers. For geothermal, our flow really does fit in well into this industry. We both have both clamp-on and inline ultrasonic flow meters. So some are external to the pipe, some are internal. Sort of depends on the application. For our clamp-on, they're non-intrusive. So we have two offerings that we typically see in this space are Aquatrans AT600, which is used for a lot of like water and brine applications. And then we also do have a portable flow meter as well. So, you can attach it, but then you can also remove it just as easily. And these do provide, very accurate flow measurement. They don't require any pipe modifications. So these are really ideal for geothermal. They can handle high temperatures, harsh environments, and they do have minimal maintenance needs because they're really not touching any of that stuff in there. And then on the other hand, we do have inline. So we have our steam flow meter. So it's our XGS 868i. This is a steam flow measurement, and this is highly effective for geothermal steam applications. They can provide really accurate and reliable data, and they do minimize pressure drop in maintenance as well. So we sort of have the two that we're looking at there of the inline and both the clamp on.
So ultrasonic flow meters in general, though, they'll read multi-phase flow. So does that make it a good fit for geothermal?
Yes, it does. I would say different technologies, so we don't really quite look at multi-phase,
Okay.
to a certain percentage, yes, of course. So it just sort of depends on what the exact application is, but yeah, ultrasonics just really great for the technology there is you're not seeing a lot of pressure drop, you're not seeing a lot of buildup or backup. The ultrasonic technology kind of helps things, keep moving forward easily.
Okay. So, I know firsthand that there's a lot of players in this market. So how does Panametrics differentiate itself from competitors specifically in the geothermal market?
Yeah, I would say like there's sort of two different parts to this. So there's like the technical aspect, but then I think commercially too, we are a little bit unique. So technically speaking, Panametrics has a lot of unique capabilities to handle flow measurement. So we can measure the brine, the condensate water, the cooling water, as well as saturated steam, which not a lot of people could do. So this does cover the full rangeability, and we are able to, do some of those other components that are present in the steam from the wells. Like it doesn't have to be clean steam, it never is. Similar to oil and gas, things get dirty, so we can easily measure that. We also do offer both clamp on and inline, which is, sort of unique compared to our competitors. So this does allow us to measure flow in a lot of challenging conditions that you often find. And then sort of that other part, commercially speaking, I feel like we do have a very good overall footprint in the energy market. So as the energy transition's progressing, we're seeing more and more mixes of energy production being put together. So, for example, geothermal with biomass or district energy, waste heat recovery, wind, hydrogen, solar, whatever it may be. In Panametrics, we do cover all of these industries with, our flow line, but also our process analyzer line. So we can provide a full solution for all these different applications. And I don't think a lot of people have that advantage. So we're really able to adapt as the market. And of course, have to shout it out, we are a Baker Hughes business. So when you do combine our solutions with the rest of Baker Hughes, there is a full scope ranging from subsurface to surface, which not a lot of competitors can say that they have that.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned some things about what did you say? In terms of the flow stream, perhaps maybe you didn't say the word fouling, but
Mhm.
what are so I know in oil and gas, that was a
Mhm.
huge challenge for flow meters. It's just fouling in the flow meters and getting the accurate flow meter reading. So do
Yeah.
we see similar challenges? And I guess the question I'm really getting to is what are the challenges with flow meters, specifically in the geothermal market?
Yes, yeah, no, you had it right on the head there. It just definitely is handling harsh conditions.
Yeah.
So with traditional technologies and steam meters, the presence of impurities and wetness can impact accuracy, and this could cause like clogging in a lot of traditional technologies, which does, lead to frequent maintenance. With the ultrasonic, these solutions could withstand these conditions, as like I said, our steam flow meters were originally designed for oil and gas industries. So this does able to, deal with those harsh conditions. And then when you're looking at brine, I would say like high temperature, mineral content, the corrosive nature, these could really deteriorate the sensors and liners in conventional meters. And this does, increase the risk of leaks. So our non-intrusive flow meters, the clamp-ons that just go on the outside, these don't touch anything. There's no chance of breaking. There's no chance of corrosion or mineral content. So these really could replace those defective meters without the need for process interruption as well.
So are most geothermal operators using ultrasonic flow meters in their lines? Are they using mag meters or do they use Coriolis meters?
Yeah, I see like we're seeing a sort of everywhere. So we've
Okay.
seen some like INU bars, we've seen some differential pressure, electromagnetic meters, vortex. So I would say there's a huge mix of meters right now, and we are trying, I think ultrasonic is pushing more and more into the market.
Love that. What advancements or innovations in flow meter technology are you most excited about?
Yes, I mean, the industry is changing daily, so there's really so many things to look at. I would say a few things is just data integration. I feel like with all technology, we're seeing data integrated more and more, and I think this is going to be a trend that we're going to see for a long time. So we are seeing some applications of using within our flow meters, we have integrated data loggers from test wells. So a lot of people are using this technology to be able to verify their flow rates when they're first using the technology to make sure that they're happy with what they have. I think as well, the hybrid energy system compatibility is really interesting because there's really no limits for the applications that we're seeing. And I think we're going to be able to see our technology succeed in many different environments. So just as the industry is changing, we're also seeing the measurements changing, but we're still keeping up with it. And then I would say too, this is sort of like niche to the metering markets, but I would say the increase of modular designs like skids, kind of those plug and play models that you're seeing a lot in other energy transition industries. We're starting to see a little bit in geothermal. Say like carbon capture and biogas, it's more of a developed market. But I think this is sort of an interesting model that a lot of companies are going with, where they can sort of package up a bunch of solutions, ship it off. There's a lot of easy benefits for mobility, installation. So I'd be sort of interested to see if this very specific and very niche thing for flow meters does continue to develop within geothermal.
Very interesting. Okay. Um, so how does Panametrics support its clients in the geothermal space beyond just providing products? And I think maybe you've answered that by talking a little bit about um, the ability to the software integration that goes with it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we support our customers in sort of like an end-to-end model. So, when we first start working with them, we do have an amazing team of application engineers, and they're going to work extremely closely with the customer to understand their exact process conditions. And every single solution that we create is a tailored solution. So we take all your specs, we do everything, we do all the sizing, and then we give you the solution. It's not just, oh, here's something off the shelf that we're giving to you. It always is a custom solution. And then, after that solution is sort of provided, after, the installation and stuff, we offer training, on-site support when needed. We can provide ongoing technical support to ensure the customer can operate the equipment efficiently. If there were something to happen and maintenance is required, we do have an excellent service group that could support the maintenance if needed, troubleshooting. Sort of all this together really helps us like lower the customer's operating costs and then improve their efficiency.
Wonderful. Can you share any success stories or case studies where Panametrics solutions have significantly impacted a geothermal project or an energy transition project?
Yeah, I mean, so many, I guess, specifically for geothermal, we have two pretty big recent success stories. The first is for brine measurement in a geothermal plant. The customer was using different flow meter technologies, such as differential pressure, and electromagnetic meters. And these flow meters were failing due to the harsh conditions, as we kind of mentioned. So they had to constantly repair, refurbish, calibrate the technology, and this caused a ton of shutdowns and, of course, production losses during these turnarounds. So we were able to come in and we perform flow verification testing. So we came in with our portable flow meter and we were able to, sort of go around different measurement points, put the portable on, verify the flow rates from the test wells. And so this clamp on capability installation, by showing them on site of what we can do, they really loved it. They loved the fact that they needed no shutdowns with this. It wasn't touching anything. They wouldn't have to, deal with any calibrations or refurbishments. So they purchased 9 flow meters. We were able to resolve all of their concerns. And in a sort of similar situation, for steam measurement, we had another customer, they were using an anubard for their measurement. And there was a lot of natural components present in the source steam. So this was causing buildup. So every 2 to 3 weeks, they had to perform cleaning operations. So 2 to 3 weeks, that's a ton of downtime. Every time you would shut down, restart, there was huge changes in the flow rate readings that they had to account for all the time for all the cleaning operations. And then it was the compliance work that was really the main issue for the customer. So every single time the flow meter went down, they had to write a report to the Bureau of Land Management. And this was just so time consuming for them, as you can imagine every 2 to 3 weeks they had to do all this paperwork and compliance issues. So, putting in one of our steam meters, they were able to, no cleaning needed, downtime was reduced and they didn't have to do all this additional reporting. So I think just the effort and the labor cost itself there was super beneficial for the customer.
Yeah. Okay, so going off of that, would that be one of the key factors that you would consider when you're selecting a flow meter specifically for geothermal?
Yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of factors you would probably want to look at. I would say there's probably 4 really key factors
Okay.
to consider. So first is going to be your process conditions. So as we all know, geothermal fluids, they contain, a mix of steam, hot water, minerals, non-condensable gases. These can all affect the accuracy of the flow meter and the durability. So it's really, essential to consider these parameters, such as temperature, pressure, fluid composition, and potential scaling or corrosion when you're selecting a flow meter. Installation environment is a huge role. So, factors such as pipe size, material orientation, available straight run length, these do impact the type of flow meters you use, the transducers that we had put on there. And this, helps with accuracy. So, technologies like clamp on, they do provide a non-intrusive option, which does eliminate a lot of these needs. And then I guess two other factors. So due to the nature of geothermal applications, which often experience wide variations in flow rates due to changes in well output, seasonal demand, operational adjustments, you want to get a flow meter that has a high turndown ratio, which that just means that it can accurately measure both low and high flow rates without compromising the performance. And then we kind of touched on this already, but I think compliance is a key factor. So, within the US, the Bureau of Land Management does have specific approvals for flow measurement in federal geothermal leases. Other regions do have similar compliance standards. So you really do want to ensure that the flow meter you select, uh, you know, meets these requirements for critical permitting and approvals.
That's really interesting. I wasn't aware of all of that. Um, So my final question I have for you is, what
Mhm.
trends do you see shaping the future geothermal energy? And then how is Panametrics preparing to meet those trends?
Yeah, so I mean, geothermal energy, I feel like anything you look at daily, it's just going to be a different thing coming up. I do think the growing developments in enhanced geothermal systems, so EGSs, I think this is really going to shape and grow the industry. And I think a lot of people are, putting more and more focus into this. And I think the involvement of oil and gas companies are really changing the momentum of the industry. So I think the more involved that other companies are in this industry, we're just increasing the opportunity and the innovation. So Panametrics specifically, we're working on a ton of new product refreshes and NPIs. I think last year we had 5 NPIs released. We also collaborated across Baker Hughes on projects and opportunities to be able to offer full integrated solutions to these companies. So super exciting industry. I love seeing Panametrics, use their older technology in these newer industries across the entire energy transition. And I think it's just such an exciting space to be in.
I love hearing you say that it's more oil and gas companies, and that could be service companies or
Mhm.
technology companies or just operators getting involved or really trying to um, help create this movement to push geothermal forward. And I feel it too.
Mhm.
I see it happening, and I love that Baker Hughes is excited about geothermal and is getting more involved and really
Mhm.
pushing its products forward. I love hearing that. But I want to thank you for joining us on this episode of Geothermal Unleashed, both to you, Lauren, and then to our listeners as well. I hope today's discussion has sparked new interest and deepened your understanding of the geothermal industry's incredible potential. Until next time, let's keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and let's continue working together to unleash the full potential of geothermal. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.